Mike Aulby had a spectacular year bowling in 1985. He was the PBA Player of the Year and won a record $201,000. One of the tournaments he won last year was right here in Garden City, New York. But in 1986, he has yet to win any titles. Albie hopes to get back on the winning track this afternoon by defending his title. But he's going to have to win 4 matches to do it. ABC Sports presents live for the 25th consecutive year, the Professional Bowlers Tour. In our first match, our number 5 qualifier, last year's top bowler and leading money winner, Mike Aulby. He meets Doug Wallace, a third-year pro, bowling in his first championship round. Qualifying third, Peter Hakim, the local favorite from Forest Hills, New York, seeking his first tour victory. The number 2 position belongs to 23-year-old Ron Palombi, Jr., whose only tournament victory came 2 years ago. The winner then will meet the tournament leader, 30-year-old Storm DeVincent, seeking his first tour victory. All today on the Professional Bowlers Tour. And not that far from the heart of Manhattan is Garden City, Long Island. Since 1963, we have been coming back to this spot for great competition among the professional bowlers of the world. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Schenkel. We welcome you to our 14th telecast in a series of 16. Today, we have 3 right-handers and 2 left-handers. The one left-hander is a non-winner. He's a local hero, Peter Hakim. Now, the other left-hander is the Bowler of the Year in 1985, over $200,000 earned, Mike Aulby of Indianapolis, Indiana. He is also the defending champion. Last year, in his 6 victories, he had to win 4 games to win the Denver Open. He did it. Can he do it today? There are some hungry bowlers ahead of him. Speaking of hunger, here's a guy that just loves television and professional bowling. Nelson Burton Jr. Bo, welcome.
Thank you, Chris. Well, I think you said it right. Inexperienced is our field today, but we have the top guy in the number 1 match, Mike Aulby, $200,000 last year, Bowler of the Year, the defending champion. He's the man to beat. But the real story this week has been the scoring. After 14 weeks on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour, this week turned out to be the highest scoring of the year. Our tournament leader, Storm DeVincent, averaged 253 in one of his 8-game blocks, 235 for the whole tournament, 42 games. We had 6 perfect games so far in the tournament. And I say so far because in this bowling center in 1978, the last legitimate shot at a 300 game was Johnny Petraglia. Had 11 in a row before he got an 8 count for a 298 game. Now we have a good shot at somebody picking up that 100,000 for a 300 game today. But one thing is really for sure, we'll have a lot of strikes, a lot of exciting action. We're ready to go, Chris.
All right, and the money at stake today in winning the Long Island Open is $18,000, $9,500, $7,500, $4,500 to the man that doesn't finish on top here in our very first game. Doug Wallace, rookie, his first television appearance ever. This 25-year-old Portland, Oregon, is going against the defending champion of this event and Bowler of the Year, Mike Aulby. And Mike is a little frustrated. This is only his 2nd championship round appearance of this year after his great 1985. 26 years old.
Bye-bye.
And of course, as you all know, you need 12 of those in order to bowl a perfect game. And as Bo alluded to the 100,000, we've waited for years to give it away. And I can't think of a better day, Bo.
Good chance today, Chris. They can throw a lot of strikes. The reason the lane scores so high is the pin carry is almost automatic. When they hit the 1-3 or 1-2 pocket, a strike more often than not.
Doug Wallace, the man with an unusual style, hooking the ball into the pocket. The style works, Nelson.
A free spirit, Chris. He just kind of walks up there with the ball, drops it by his side, opens up that hand at the top of the swing, good knee bend on his pivot step, then just unleashes that ball at the bottom of the swing, starts at about the 25th board on the lane, 39 being across the lane, out to about the 5th board, back into the pocket.
Here he is, 5'8", 175 pounds. Now, outwardly, we would have to say he's the loosest bowler we've had all year, but inwardly, I know he is a little uptight, but he is strung. He has doubled here in our very first match. Doug Wallace and now Mike Aulby.
That's what makes big scores when you hit around the pocket. He hit the 1-3 very high, caved in the strike, has started with a double.
Is in there with a double. A man on this championship pair averaging 256 in 2 games is often winging. Here's a replay.
Mike Aulby, with that smooth style that we saw so often last year in his 6 victories, lays the ball down very softly at the foul line. Good extension, nice follow through, plays the big hook, ball into the 1-2 pocket. The match is all even after 2 frames.
Young man that was the Professional Bowlers Association Rookie of the Year in 1979. 2-time PBA national champion, and only 26. He has 3 in a row. We're at Garden City Bowl, New York's Long Island. From the front, this view.
The angle played by Mike Aulby, sliding right down the center of the lane, over the second arrow, out to about the 5th board. Now watch his reaction as he loves it, that light hit. He starts with 3 in a row. Doug Wallace has 2 in a row.
Trails by 10, can't even it up with a strike here. He's on the right lane of this championship pair. Beautiful.
As the players say in the paddock, what a train this player throws. Look at the angle of attack. The ball drives through the 1-3 pins, drives out the 5, 8, and 9. Tremendous hook. 3 pound, 6, 7, and 8 ounce pins we're using this week, the standard pins that we always use. But the players can get a tremendous angle of attack on that pocket, and this is the type of scoring we've seen all week long. Both players perfect through 3.
Last year, as a part-time player, was 7th in the Austin Open. And it's a 6-pin.
All right, you see the ball crossing over the left side of the head pin and just pushing out all the pins but the 6-pin. He almost gets a break and gets a strike on this hit. See the 3-pin just sliding by it. Another reason the scores are so high, the splits are not there when you hit high in the pocket.
And the door has been opened for the defending champion, Mike Aulby, after stringing 3, an open frame for Doug Wallace.
The shortcoming of Doug Wallace, the big strike ball, but the inability to make a very simple spare has put him into a position where he trails by 13 pins. We'll be back after this message.
Just because you've washed your car doesn't mean you're finished. After each wash, you need some Armor All. On the dash, the bumper, and especially the tires. After all, when you're in love, what's a few extra minutes? Armor All. It's the finishing touch every time you wash your car.
In my line of work, you get to appreciate a good, solid defense. A defense that works hard to protect you. One that won't let you down. That's why I use English leather deodorant. No fancy gimmicks, no fancy promises. Just a good, solid defense. So no matter how rough things get, I know I'm protected. English leather deodorant, a good, solid defense.
Give me that.
Do you know what kills your muffler? Rust. Rust that can start on the inside and eat its way through. Now there's a muffler that helps stop this problem. The Walker Advantage, with a revolutionary rust inhibitor, Absorbite, that actually absorbs internal moisture. The inside of this muffler was not protected with Absorbite. This muffler was. You can see the difference. The Walker Advantage. It puts rust at a disadvantage.
Warranted at service outlets and auto parts stores where you see this sign.
Mark Breland, undefeated as a pro. His only amateur loss was to Daryl Anthony. Now they meet again live. Plus the World Whitewater Canoeing Championships on ABC's Wide World of Sports next.
One of my all-time favorite champions from St. Louis, Nelson, Dick Weber. A winner right here.
1976, Dick Weber won one of his 29 national championships. And here's a man who someday may also perform that feat of 29 to 30 national championships. Another Hoosier, Mike Aulby.
Pete Weber, Dick's son, finished 35th. Oh, we've still got the possibility.
What a break!
And you need those. 4 in a row for Mike Aulby.
Watch the action, the head pin and the 3-pin. There it is. He just nicks the 3-pin. It looks like it's going to stand. Over it goes. Aulby keeps his streak alive, and that's the kind of hits you need to shoot the big game. That 1 or 2 off shots, get a break on him. It's kept Aulby's string alive. He leads by 23 pins. More importantly, he has 4 in a row to start the game.
And now back to reality. A round of applause. 5th frame, leaving the 3-6 on the left lane.
The championship pair for both players, both right-handers and left-handers. The left-hand lane, as Tammy Albie looks on, hooks a little bit more. Mike just sent that ball wide and left the 3-6 a simple spare to maintain a 21-pin lead.
Had a few anxious moments at the line. He's patting the solar plexus. Well, perhaps the butterflies are gone now. And in the case of non-winner Doug Wallace of Portland, Oregon, who up to now, as a 3-year member of the PBA, has earned $15,988. Interesting style, interesting young man. So, the great hook stroke, the hook shot. We asked him earlier what he must learn to become more consistent on the tour.
Well, Bo, I think it's very important for me to pick up my spares. I've always had trouble with them. Staying firm in crucial situations. I have a habit of letting up on the ball a little bit and setting it a little short. Spares most important, though, for me, I think.
There you see the open frame in the 4th. Coming right back with a strike. Now the 6th frame. And a high hit, leaving the 3-6, 9-10.
Well, he had trouble making the 6-pin. And once again, he goes very high right here, just drives through the pins and leaves the 3, 6, and 9 pins. The 10-pin is the key pin to carry out.
Walter Ray Williams, our only 2-time winner this year. He finished 31st in the Long Island Open.
And you see the style of Doug Wallace, that extreme left-hand side of the approach, using all the lane, sliding, throwing the ball over the 4th arrow, sending it out to that 3, 6, 9 spare, which he converted. But here's Albie up 6-frame, 21-pin lead.
Spare working for Albie. The winner of our first game will meet Peter Hakim, a non-winner from Forest Hills, New York.
No doubt about this strike. Solid in the 1-2 pocket, driving all 10 pins in the pin.
And Hakim off to our right, if you hear pin fall, is practicing, waiting to meet the winner. He's practicing a lot. Very organized young man. Great hockey fan. Seven pin.
First time a player has hit the pocket today and has not come away with a strike. Wallace has hit the pocket four times in his 6 frames. Albie has hit the pocket 6 out of 7 shots, has 5 strikes to show for him.
Garden City Bowl, just adjacent to historical Mitchell Field here on Long Island. All right. Continuing to mark is Mike Aulby of Indianapolis, Indiana, leading by 21 pins. This is our first game. We're live from Long Island, and we'll be back.
Every bottle of Miller comes with a clear promise.
Miller's made the American way.
A promise that Miller beer has been brewed naturally.
Born and brewed in the USA.
And above all, a promise of purity. A promise that Miller beer contains no additives, no preservatives.
Miller's made the American way.
Miller beer. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
If you expect an engine to start quick, work hard, and last long, remember, the easiest job a Briggs & Stratton engine will ever do is mow your lawn. Ask for Briggs & Stratton, the power in power equipment.
When this 29-year-old bowls in the next game, you will hear some rooting because he's a hometown favorite. Peter Hakim, a lefty, and he continues to practice. All right, Mark Breland, undefeated in 10 fights, going against the man, the only man to defeat him in the amateur ranks. And that's going to be a neat fight. Anthony has a chance.
Well, I don't know, the revenge factor, Chris. Anthony, granted a couple years ago, could stay with Breland, but Breland will put him away early this time.
Okay. All right, and you know, whitewater canoeing, which I first saw at the Munich Olympic Games. Is that ever exciting? Watch it today on Wide World. Just as you watched another strike by Haken Doug Wallace.
We're seeing a lateral attack on the pins today. Wallace from the right side, Albie from the left. The extreme sharp angle towards the pocket rewards you with a strike every time that you can get in there. Once again, Wallace is a dangerous type player to compete against, Chris, because he can throw strikes at any time, and he's just a free spirit out there. He can beat himself, but then he can throw 5 or 6 in a row to close the gap.
Albie not looking. And the man that sold shares in himself to get out on the tour. Got a little expense money in his pocket, left a 10 pin.
Solid 10. Ball breaks in. The 6 pin is airborne as it goes around the 10, and that was a key shot for Doug Wallace to get back in the match. He must convert this spare, just trailed by still 21 pins through 8 frames.
He makes it look easy. Sort of gets set on that approach and fires away, and here's the methodical Mike Aulby, who led the first 2 rounds, and then a winner this year, Del Warren, followed by Ron Palombi, who will be bowling 2 games from now. And then the tournament leader, Storm DeVincent, took over in the 5th and 6th.
18 games of qualifying, 24 match play, 42 in all.
A 7.
Similar shot to what Doug Wallace just suffered through in the previous frame, the solid 7 for the left-hander. Albie had one problem with his bowling 2 or 3 years ago, and it was the inability to make the 7 pin. He missed it twice in a championship match in the Grand Prix in Paris, France, 1982. Ultimately cost him the title. He's worked on it, and I expect him to make it here in this frame.
Seems to be an era of a collecting craze, and we mentioned Mike being a hockey fan. His main interest in collecting are official hockey pucks. So word gets out, and the hockey players all over North America make sure that they add to Mike's collection. Interesting guy.
Albie will be going to the Islanders game, which is held at Nassau County Coliseum, which is nearby, and you'll hopefully see an Islanders victory.
And the oohs and ahs of the crowd told you the story. A little audio of what was left down there.
You won't have to worry about a hockey victory tonight, but he's got to worry about his right now. He had this match well in hand, and all of a sudden, an errant shot right here. He leaves the 1-3-7-9, the washout. And if he doesn't convert this, he's opened the door for Wallace to take the lead in the 9th and 10th frames.
And it is just that, an open frame coming at the worst time. Something Mike certainly didn't want, giving him 192 through the 9th. And now with the spare up, shooting in the 9th frame, things are tightening up, Nelson.
Doug Wallace right now going at a 2:07 pace, trails by 5 pins. If he can strike here in the 9th and the first one in the 10th, he will have the lead. 3 strikes in a row, and he would shut out Mike Aulby.
There's one. You know, when he opened in the 4th frame, it almost seemed like that was the end. Not so.
You see the profile of Doug Wallace. He has not missed striking on this right-hand lane. He struck in the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and here again in the 9th as you see the ball start down the center of the lane, out to the 3rd board, and just pulverize those pins as he comes into the pocket. But here is the lane that will determine victory or defeat for Doug Wallace today. Trails by 5. If he strikes on this ball, he'll have the lead for the first time in the match.
The 2-4 standing on the left lane. Portland, Oregon's Doug Wallace.
Wallace with a conversion here and a strike would finish with 2:07. Albie would need a spare and a 6 count to win the match. A bit discouraged, Doug Wallace. His inability to strike on the left-hand lane. He struck there in the 2nd frame, missed a spare in the 4th, missed again in the 6th, 8th, and in the 10th frame, failed to strike again, has opened the door for Albie. Albie, a simple task of a spare, will win the match.
So Doug Wallace, hoping to get his first victory here in the Long Island Open, has shot a 2:07. Now it's up to Albie. It's in his left hand.
Albie has been in the pocket every time on this right-hand lane. Strikes in the 2nd, 4th, 6th, solid 7 in the 8th. Any kind of mark here in the 10th wins the match.
Not over yet. That is a 3-pin.
Albie sends it wide. Not a very good shot. You never get defensive on a professional bowler's tour. Leaves the 3-pin, a spare that his brother-in-law, Steve Cook, missed at the True Value Open last year to donate a potential title. Albie needs this to go on in the next match.
All right. Tension-packed first game when you have a 12-time champion, defending champion, bowler of the year. Had his hands full with Doug Wallace.
Graphic tells the story. 6 pins, he wins the match. 5's a tie. Anything less would probably be in the gutter.
Here it is. Got 9. Mike Aulby now will go against the local favorite, Peter Hakim. And that should be another tester. 2:11 to 2:07 is the final score of the first game. So Mike Aulby moves up against Peter Hakim. Don't go away. That match next.
The Professional Bowlers Tour, today coming from New York. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Miller Beer. Miller made the American way since 1855. By Armor All, it's the finishing touch every time you wash your car. and by the Gates Rubber Company, celebrating 75 years of excellence and quality automotive parts. We'll be back with more bowling after these commercial messages and a word from your local station.
At Midas, we've always been proud of the job we do. A lot of our new customers are referred to us by our old ones.
Howdy, boys.
Welcome back, Mr. Creedy. You see, good service, good prices. The word gets around. Now when you have any Midas shock or strut installed, we'll install the second one for half price. You can feel the difference they make on your car.
Take it to Midas.
And in your wallet.
Take it to someone you trust.
Now, for the power computer user who demands performance, Radio Shack introduces the Tandy 3000, the more powerful and more affordable IBM PC AT compatible. Here's the power to manage your business, utilize computer networking, or create a multi-user system. The Tandy 3000, the power to put you in command. Tandy, clearly superior, in business for business, only at Radio Shack Computer Centers.
The Golden Gun, Sunday.
This is you. Your criminal past. They gave you to me.
Survival in the Everglades is behind them. Their battle to clean up the streets of Miami is about to begin.
I'm not backing up anymore.
From the maker of Miami Vice, Band of the Hand. Now they're on our side. Rated R.
Now playing at a theater near you.
Hoffman Ford Harrisburg is having a fresh replacement sale now. The more we sell, the more cars and trucks Ford gives us. That's why we're willing to take less and sell more. We both gain. For example, the world's #1 selling Escort, or America's #1 selling truck, the Ford F-150, or the great Mustang. All sale priced and with special financing. If you're buying, save hundreds in interest alone at Hoffman Fresh Replacement Sale. Hoffman Ford, Route 22, Harrisburg, Jonestown Road.
This is WHTM-TV, serving Harrisburg, Lancaster, York, and Lebanon.
And here at the Garden City Bowl, the defending champion Mike Aulby just did it by 4 pins, 211 to Doug Wallace's 207. Mike with 5 strikes, Wallace with 7. Now, from Forest Hills, New York, it is Hakem that's going to meet Albie. And right now we're going to meet the question in asking Bo which colleges offer bowling scholarships or financial aid. Nelson?
Well, Chris, there are a number of schools around the country, 15 in all, that have volunteered the information to give some sort of financial aid and or scholarships to the youth around the country. And we'll just roll that list through there for you. Indiana State University from your area, Chris, is one of them. You see a few. Robert Morris, we have some great players come out of Robert Morris. Don Janella, who won this tournament. St. Louis Community College in St. Louis, Faux Valley, my good friend Bill Miller there. And West Texas State and Wichita State's 2 of the top teams in the country right now.
All right, so if you have a question you'd like Bo to answer, send it to Ask Bo, Post Office Box 1986, Radio City Station, New York, New York, 10101. Okay. Now, the question is, can non-winner Peter Hakim, who has his hometown fans behind him, he is seated now, 29 years old, can he take the measure of this man, Mike Aulby? Won the first game over Doug Wallace, 211, 207. Albie first. And immediately, it's the 4, 6, 7, 10.
Albie, being the smart player he is, he'll just try to go for 2 pins here and not waste the count. The 4, 6, 7, 10. It's makeable, I'd say. The odds maybe 1,000 to 1. Try to slide one of the pins over. But Albie in the early going will just go for 2 pins.
So it's kind of 8. Open frame for Albie, and now we get a look at the 5'11", 175-pound Peter Hakim, first career appearance in the championship round. He's bowled in 18 PBA national tournaments in his 9-year career, cashed in 3 of them from the left side. Listen to those hometown fans. Our hero comes through in the first frame.
Peter Hakim in his first shot on championship round just rips that 5-pin over into the 610 area. Starts out with a strike. He's got to love the reaction. Watch this. Come on, ball. Good start. In the match play against the 42 games of match play, Peter Hakim defeated Albie 258 to 247. One of the real exciting matches we had yesterday.
One of the most powerful strikes we've seen all year. A man that averaged 240 in 2 games on this championship pair. Peter Hakim. H-A-K-I-M. Now Albie, after an open frame, shooting in the second. This is the second game for Mike, winning the first 211 to 207. Capacity crowd here at the Garden City Bowl. And in this area, Nelson, they have a lot of terrific league play. The Seaboard Classic League, for instance.
Seaboard Classic, Chris, which bowls in Garden City lanes right here, of which Peter Hakim is a member. One of the top leagues in the country, has historically produced excellent bowlers at the pro level. Albie for a double.
So there's Tammy Albie, Mike's wife. And shots like that will make Peter Hakim think, but he seems like a cool competitor that carefully rubbing off that black bowling ball. Double up, third frame. Leads by 22.
And this is the way we started the first match. The ball coming into the 1-2 pocket. He just saws out that 4-7 with a good spin and angle. Peter Hakim off to an excellent start. 3 in a row leads Mike Aulby, the professional bowler of the year of last year, by 22 pins. 4th frame for Hakim.
Intimidated by the bowler of the year is this man who has strung 4 over Albie and leads by 32. We'll be back.
In Alamance County, North Carolina, Honda lawnmowers are assembled from the wheels up. Beginning with the Honda overhead valve engine, each precision part is fitted and assembled to exacting tolerances. Then, the final critical step that determines whether a machine will meet the Honda standard. The Clara Johnson test. If Clara pulls and it starts, it's a Honda.
Ship it.
The Honda lawnmower. It's easy to start, or else.
We got what it takes, true value. We got what it takes.
Seal small holes and inflate your tire fast with heavy-duty puncture seal. In April, get an 18-ounce can of puncture seal for just $2.99, plus a $2 mail-in rebate, making your final cost just 99 cents. Look for the banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
We got what it takes, true value.
We have an upset in the making in our second match. Mike Aulby, who won the first 211 to 207, is going against a non-winner, a local professional named Peter Hakim. Speaking of professional, here's the leading money winner for 1986. He's 1-2, my riverboat gambler, Walter Ray Williams. Welcome.
Walter Ray 300 this week, but really, why are the scores so good? Is it the pin action, the lane condition, combination of both? What is it?
Well, it's a combination of everything. The lane conditions, very suitable high scores. The pin fall's very good here, and just generally good bowling.
As he said, the best bowlers in the world, and you saw evidence of that type of pinfall as Albie there trips the 6 out, the 3-pin to the sideboard, trips out the 6-10, and has kept the match alive. Albie a tough competitor, isn't he, Walter Ray?
Very tough.
You'd like to take the Bowler of the Year title away from him, Ron, wouldn't you?
Long way to go, though.
That's right, but you're off to a great start.
And here could be one of the best matches of the year. Albie with a strike here would cut the Lead of Peter Hakim down to 12 pins after 5 frames.
Remember, Mike had only 5 strikes in his victory over Wallace. And now here after an open frame, he's strung 4. And so has Peter Hakim, but did not have an open frame in the first. Perfect through 4, now shooting in the 5th frame as Walter Ray Williams Jr. is watching along with Nelson Burton and me. Peter, how does it help him to bowl at his home bowling lanes?
Well, Bo, since I bowl a league here and practice here quite often, and with the crowd behind me, it's going to be pretty exciting today, and I should have a good chance to win.
Chris, he bowls in that Seaboard Classic you're talking about with a 209 average in league, and I asked him why he bowled so much more in the tournament. He says his team's so far behind the league, he doesn't try all the time.
Now in the 6th frame. He is halfway. Peter Hakim, former high school first baseman and outfielder, and then into a little semi-pro baseball. Heavily jeweled with 2 rings on that right hand.
Well, 6 more strikes and he'll look like a jewelry store.
And a banker.
Don't count this fellow out. You don't win 200,000, 6 titles in the PBA Tour in 1 year, and give up when you're down just 30 pins.
Dancing them off the deck, Mike Aulby. We're in our 2nd match with the winner of this game to meet Ron Palombi Jr. and then the tournament leader, Storm DeVincent.
Aulby getting in a groove. He knows it's there. The last 2 shots Aulby has thrown have been perfect, relaxed, laid right into the 1-2 pocket. And this is the type of match that forces a player towards perfection, Chris. Hakim has to think about winning this match right now. Forget about the perfect game. The match is still most important at this point.
Mike Aulby leaving the 3-pin on the left lane of this championship pair.
The left lane has been the story of the day. Wallace couldn't hit it in the first match. Right now, Albie struggling on it here in the 2nd match. He opened in the 1st frame, missed here, a strike here in the 7th frame. Once again, he has that 3-pin, which he has converted every time so far today.
All right, this capacity crowd starting to tense up a bit as their local hero, Peter Hakim, now steps up on the approach. He'll be shooting on the 7th frame. He has strung 6. Right lane. Mr. Hakim, that's his dad, Mac. His mother, Marilyn, is here, and his wife, Ellen, is here as well. There's Mom. There's Ellen. Happy.
Everybody's in shock right now. Peter Hakim, first time in a championship round, inexperienced, but you just can't do it any better. Perfect through 7. 5 more strikes. Trip to the Firestone, first title, and $100,000. 8th frame.
Fans, here now his 8th consecutive strike.
Peter Hakim, who has practiced many a game on 21 and 22 at Garden City Bowl, he says it's a pair he practices on when he comes in, and he's showing him what he practices. As he runs that out, strings together his 8th strike. Here's Albie, you're just pacing at this point.
Another 3-pin on the right lane this time for Albie. If you just joined us, he won the first game 211 to 207 over Doug Wallace. He was the number 5 qualifier. But he has met a buzzsaw today in Peter Hakim. Well, what's the feeling when you're competing against a man that's strung 8 and on his way to perhaps a 300 to the opponent?
Well, there's two thoughts going through Albie's mind. Really, he can still win this game if Hakim opens in the 9th and 10th frames and Albie strikes out. So Albie hasn't given up yet, but in the bottom of his heart, knowing Mike Aulby, he's rooting for Peter Hakim to say, hey, come on, let's shoot it. Shoot the 300. I'll try to get out of your way.
Ninth frame strike. Okay. He's done it 8 times. Naturally, we'll be trying for his 9th in a row.
Has 3 perfect games of his career, 29 years old.
You see the relief on his face. Oh, what a heavy bowling ball when you're strung 8. He has now left the 7 pin.
What a way to break the string. A near perfect hit, a ringing 7. But Peter Hakim must gather his thoughts. He needs to convert this spare and mark in this frame or the 10th frame to win the match. A spare here would assure him of a victory and go into the semifinal match.
What a performance by the non-winner.
The potential for both players. Peter Hakim, if he strikes in the 10th, 11th, and 12th frames, a 279 game. Albie, not to be put down, but still has a potential 246. Tremendous scoring. I think Mike Aulby just saying, well, I kind of wish I didn't lose, and I kind of wish he got 300.
Appreciation of the fans, including Mac Hakim, his pop. So Albie is out, Hakim is in. We'll go against Ron Palombi Jr. Now, another Nelson Burton Jr. tip. More on practicing your strike lines.
The Professional Bowlers Tour Tip of the Week is brought to you by Radio Shack, the computer experts.
Our third lesson in our practice series involves playing the different strike zones, the outside, the middle, and the inside lines. Remember week 1, we warmed up the body. Week 2, we practiced finding the line, the strike zone. Now week 3 comes the real work, practicing the different zones. The first zone we're going to practice is the outside line, out by the first arrow. Move to the right on the approach. When you practice the first arrow, by familiarizing yourself with this zone, you get over the fear of that outside channel. Also, you get to practice throwing a little more speed, which is very important in the sport of bowling, speed control. Watch this shot, the outside line. We've already practiced 4 frames on the outside line around the first arrow. Now the 5th and 6th frames, we play the normal line, or the most comfortable line for most people, around the second arrow. Move into the second arrow, move your feet more towards the center of the lane, and roll a couple of shots right over that second arrow zone. And finally, for your last few frames, move to the inside line around the third arrow and throw the ball a little slower. This is the toughest line of all, so always practice it. That's it. Remember lesson number 3. Practice the outside line around the first arrow with a little more ball speed. Then move for the 5th and 6th frames around the second arrow, your comfortable line. And finally, the real tough line, the last part of this game, move to the third arrow, throw the ball a little bit slower, and work on your hook. this is a very good practice vehicle.
Radio Shack understands that a computer purchase is a serious personal and business decision. But what's really important is the company behind the computer. At Radio Shack, when you buy a computer, you buy a company. A company committed to technology, service, and support. We'll be here when you need us. With a telephone hotline, training, education, and excellent service. Tandy Computers, in business, for business. Tandy, clearly superior.
Look at the big numbers. After Albie winning the first game, 211 to 207, he met non-winner Peter Hakim, favored here at Garden City Bowl, 267 to 246, and strangely enough, both had 9 strikes. Hakim with 8 in a row. Seemed well on his way to $100,000. Well, now he's going against Palumbi. Maybe he can get it in our semifinal match. We're going to return to our semifinal match here at the Garden City Bowl. But first, this message.
At his last tune-up, Jim McGill forgot to change something very important, his engine belts. After 4 years, belts can break anytime. So don't take chances. Next tune-up, get Gates belts. More mechanics install Gates and more people rely on them than any other belt made. Remember, if your car's 4 years old, get Gates before it's too late.
His name's Lightning. When you want a loan, most banks work at a slow trot. But someone can put you in the saddle.
Hop on.
The boss at Beneficial.
Hi, I'm Carol.
Our manager can get you a Beneficial credit line account, usually in 24 hours. The money you want for the things you want.
That was fast. Fast as lightning. You bet.
Beneficial. Talk to the manager and you're talking to the boss.
Runners-up the last 2 seasons, the New York Mets feel this is their year. They'll meet the Philadelphia Phillies. Or in a rematch of last year's American League playoff, the Toronto Blue Jays take on George Brett and the world champion Royals. It's the season premiere of ABC's Sunday afternoon baseball.
Yes, Major League Baseball returns to Cap City's ABC television tomorrow. Season-long Sunday afternoon games, Mets and Phillies, or Blue Jays and world champion Royals, live at 3 Eastern.
The Royals confident the Mets need to win every game just to keep up with the Cardinals. And here's a young man who won 1 PBA title where Mark Fay, his opponent, got 5 pins on the last ball. The opportunistic Ron Palombi came up and struck in the 10th, 11th, and 12th frames for a 1-pin victory in Tucson, 1984, looking for his 2nd title.
From that sports-minded city of Erie, Pennsylvania. Shake or 2 more, and that 3-pin would have gone. Ron Palombi Jr., 23 years old.
First ball is high on the left-hand lane, as we said, lane 21. Hooks it a little bit more than 22. Palombi not giving it enough room, almost gets a break and has a strike. Has to settle for the spare.
And like his opponent, he needs to win in order to be eligible for the Firestone Tournament of Champions 2 weeks from today, where the winner will get $50,000.
And the man sitting on the bubble, or 52nd place, who would get knocked out of that starting field, is Dale Glenn, alias the Eagle.
Well, he had 9 in his victory over Mike Aulby, 8 in a row. So here is Peter Hakim, Forest Hills, New York.
Has that outside-in swing, plays a pretty much of a straight down the line. He doesn't hook the ball as much as the other 4 players in today's quintet, but he throws almost every shot solid in the pocket. A hit similar to the one he left the 7-pin on in the 9th frame after starting the previous game with 8 strikes in a row.
In his 2nd game of the afternoon, the winner of this game to meet the tournament leader, Storm DeVincent. From up front, look at it.
2 schools of thought of knowing the championship pair as well as Peter Hakim does. If the pair is exactly like you normally practice on them, it's to your benefit. But if the pair happens to change a little bit during the championship round, sometimes you don't adjust. He's been perfect today, has got the pressure on Ron Palombi after just 2 frames.
With a high hit after Bo lofting that ball way out on the lane.
The good loft, the good lift, and here you'll see it right here on this shot, Chris. He has a good drop down, straight push away, head steady, wraps that arm behind his back, curls that wrist. Now watch the lift as you roll the wrist underneath the ball, approximately 6 or 7 feet out on the lane. That helps delay the hook when the ball is breaking very sharply, but he hasn't done it well enough so far. He's been high on both frames.
Oh, power on that shot. He's a big boy, 6'3", 190 pounds. He had games of 279 and 269 throughout the progress of the Long Island Open.
Ron Palombi Jr. is the type of player that likes high-scoring lane condition, but likes them very tight. Right now the lanes are hooking a little bit. He doesn't like to have to throw that hard and loft it that much out over the lane. The Tucson Open that he won, his first title and only title on, were very slick or non-hooking lane conditions. Let's see if he can adjust.
Yes, he did. Former high school baseball player. Started working at the lanes as a mechanic. And he's learned the mechanics of competing, too. Obviously, this professional has as well. He's leading by 12 now. Double working, 3rd frame.
And the strategy, Chris, the man who knows the championship pair better than anyone else. Number 21 doesn't hook as much as number 22. Move to the left and start the ball towards the pocket. He has done it perfectly, except for 2 shots all day long.
All right, now, for a 4-bagger on the left lane. They shout Peter here. Capacity crowd. And this is our 3rd match of the afternoon. We'll be back.
Yeah. What is this? Oh, that's a, Billy, that's a,
America's learning that it takes a new breed of mechanic to service today's sophisticated cars. The Firestone Mastercare mechanic, trained at one of 48 Firestone training centers, trained in the latest automotive technology on specially designed state-of-the-art equipment, because that's what it takes to be a mechanic today.
America's driving to Firestone. You don't give your word, then go back on the deal. You don't shake a man's hand unless that's how you feel. The best way to show you mean what you say is man to man, the American way. Miller's made the American way. Born and brewed in the USA.
Miller contains no additives or preservatives. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
The action continues on the Professional Bowlers Tour. They'll be on the mark at the $125,000 Greater Hartford Open next Saturday on EBC Sports.
From Tamarack, Florida, is this 30-year-old professional, our tournament leader, Storm DeVincent. Very colorful right-hander. He's waiting in the wings, continuing to practice. He will meet the winner of the match now underway, Ron Palombi Jr., at whom you're looking now in the striped shirt, going against Peter Hakim, who has a 4-bagger up for Palumbi. He's trailing by 32. He has a strike up now, the 4th frame. So that double cuts it to 22. We asked him earlier how he stays in shape.
Well, basically to train, I just bowl a lot of practice games, but on my off season, I don't do too much. I play a little basketball with a bunch of my buddies and just like to hang out at the beach.
Like Nelson Burton Jr.
And he has a great jump shot like our producer, Kenny Wolf. But
did they teach you that at Harvard?
Albeit, right now Palumbi needs another strike to cut the lead of Hakem down to 12 pins. Hakem so far has been perfect.
High hit leaving the 9.
Palumbi at just a pinch high on the left-hand lane. The 2-pin goes to the sideboard, takes out the 4 and the 7, but the ball cooks too much to take out the 9-pin. With this spare, Palumbi would have 87 through 4, spare up in the 5th.
Well done. A week from today, Nelson and I will be in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. Bring you that finals of that tournament, and meanwhile, looking on, you see Ron's parents who have come in from Erie, Pennsylvania. Ron and Linda Palumbi, both bowlers. So it runs in the family. The Greater Hartford Open. Live telecast next Saturday afternoon, 3 Eastern Time, followed by our 16th stop in this 25th year, the $250,000 Firestone Tournament of Champions in Akron. Oh, no! 5 in a row. Nelson, I want you to explain that one to our audience.
One of the great breaks. Watch the action of the 3-pin. It goes to sideboard. It stays in play. Takes out the 2 and the 4 pins. And ironically, the 2 and 4 pins were the 2 pins that Johnny Petraglia left when he was denied the 300 game back in 1978. When he bowled that 298 game, he left those 2-4 pins. Palumbi has, Hakem now has 5 in a row.
And again, that smile that came after 8 in a row in his first appearance here this afternoon, the string stopping at 5, leaving a 6-pin on the left lane.
Let's see how he is at shooting spares. He hasn't had much of an opportunity to shoot spares. Had 9 strikes in the first match, starting with 8 in a row. We started this match with 5 in a row. A spare here would put him on a 2:39 pace. Palumbi at a 2:07 pace, 32-pin difference.
So now with a spare up, Ron Palombi will be shooting in the 7th frame. Using all the approach.
Palumbi strikes here in the 6th with a powerful shot, and here's his strategy. Number 21, the one he's coming up on, hooks more than 22. He'll move his feet 2 boards to the left on the approach, and on number 21, play the same target as 22 out at the arrows. This is a big shot right here. He trails by 32 pins against the red-hot Peter Hakim. There you see him moving a little farther left on the approach. He needs this shot.
Beautifully done. Pumped up now is this Erie, Pennsylvania professional looking for his first win. We'll see if he can get it after this.
Minwax makes wood beautiful.
Minwax brings out wood's rich, warm glow, so it's as beautiful to look at as it is to touch. Wood finish by Minwax penetrates deep into wood, so it's easy to get outstanding results. And when topped with our own polyurethane, Minwax protects against life's hard knocks and tough spills, letting wood's natural beauty show through.
Minwax makes wood beautiful.
To Peerless Faucet, durability means solid brass, resilient copper, and stainless steel construction. It also means if you install your Peerless washerless faucet today, it will not only still be working in the year 2001, it will still be under warranty. Peerless home products, humidifiers, disposers, water filters, and faucets. Install in no time and last a long time.
Olympic gold medalist Mark Breland, undefeated as a pro. 110 wins as an amateur. His only loss to Darrell Anthony. Now they meet again in a live welterweight fight. Plus, furious action at the World Whitewater Canoeing Championships. All on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Next.
A well-liked entrepreneur in all of Long Island, Buddy Russell, proprietor of the Garden City Bowl, which has staged pro tournaments since '63, and president of the vast Nassau County Bowling Proprietors Association, John Caprice. They have a lot of bowlers in Long Island. They do more than fish in Long Island. They bowl a lot.
And here's one of the members of that Nassau bowling organization, Peter Hakim, representing them. Let's see if he has a letdown. He had 8 in a row the first game, 5 in a row this game, leads by 32.
Leaving the 6-10. Anxious fans here, his fans. A boy that grew up in Forest Hills, as did our senior vice president who came to visit us today, Michigan State's own Dennis Lewin.
Hakim has had a letdown after each string of strikes. So let's see if he can get that string going again here in the 8th frame.
Hey!
Barely nicks the 6-pin. He gets the 10-pin off the sideboard. Every good break so far for Peter Hakim today. That conversion gives him a 20-pin lead, yet their 8th frame is coming up, 3 frames to go, and Ron Palombi is looking sharp, his opponent.
And Pete, which they cheer about, whom they cheer about, answered their prayers, striking in the 8th frame. Started with 5 in a row, a couple of spares, now a strike. And Palumbi has a double up, can cut Hakim's lead to 10 with a strike here in the 8th.
The good-looking bachelor puts that rosin on his ball, takes the full approach. Chris, as you said, with a 3rd strike, it will be just 10 pins difference with 2 frames to go.
And then this, the 6, 7, 10 for Palumbi.
An inopportune time as he cuts right through the middle. He goes right through the middle, leaves these 6, 7, and 10 pins. And what Palumbi has to do is get that ball over in the 6, 7 area. Those 2 pins remaining on the right-hand side. Slide the 6 over into the 7.
And Vicky and Dennis Lewin's son. Don't think he isn't with it. What a sports fan watching with us.
DJ gets to see one of the great shots of the year on Professional Bowlers Tour at a most important time. Palumbi nicks the 6 into the 7, keeps in the match. Once again, he still trails by 23 pins, 2 frames to go.
Great family sport. So many parents come out to see their sons when they reach the championship finals, like Ron's parents, like Peter's parents. So for Ron Palumbi on that left lane, it'll be a 2-pin that he must cover, coming in the 9th frame.
Palumbi high in the 8th, got away with the split, sends it wide here in the 9th, has left the simple spare, the 2-pin. He's now going at a 2-13 pace, Hakim 2-17 pace. Anybody can still win the match.
Our first match, 211 to 207, with Albie beating Wallace. Then Hakim, who's up next, defeated Albie 267 to 246. So another tight one. And I think it'll be a tight, I know it'll be an exciting welterweight fight between Mark Breland and Darrell Anthony. Anthony, 22 pro bouts, Breland only 10, but extremely talented. Then World Whitewater Canoeing.
Peter Hakim, now he has to make a decision. Should he go for this split and bring the match down to where he would be in a position he could lose, or just go for the one pin and stay ahead in the count. I would shoot for the one pin, Chris, stay ahead in the count, and force Palumbi to throw a double to take the lead.
There's the strategy. Figures in often in this sport.
A mistake he may pay for.
Looked like he was trying to get them both. Greedy. Perhaps greed set in.
As Ellen looks on, Chris, he doesn't know the score because he doesn't need to go for both pins. You have to analyze the score sheet as he looks over now. Palumbi going at a 2:13 place and Hakem at a 2:23 pace. Anybody can win the match. Look at how that number of 3 has come up in the scoreboard. A big mistake by Hakem. Let's see if he gets away for him with it. 10th frame.
Delayed reaction.
Hakem the good break in the 10th. The 3-pin goes to the sideboard, trips out the 6th and 10 pins. He's put himself in a position where he can lock out Ron Palombi. He's got to like this. Anything could have happened on that strike, something good. Another strike right here for Peter Hakim, and he will go on in the final match against powerful Storm DeVincent.
Graphically, very simple. Strike and one pin. All right. Now carefully making sure what he needs.
Right now he knows the score. He knows he needs a double to rectify that mistake he made in the 9th frame. He has it. Just keep the ball in the building. Stay behind the foul line. He'll go on to meet Storm DeVincent. And if you haven't seen Storm Bowl, it's something interesting.
All right. A man who got off the hook, his own hook. It doesn't happen too often in bowling. You make an error and you can't come back. But he has won his second match. Peter Hakim going against Storm DeVincent next.
They were asking for trouble when they asked me to test ride Monroe's gas Magnum shocks on my pickup. Truck's only a couple years old. It rides fine. I only break half a dozen eggs a day. I gotta tell you, with the gas Magnums, my truck rode a lot better. But I still broke an egg. See that little crack right there? See?
Save during the Monroe Best Ride sale. Plus, get a $6 cashback bonus on every pair of gas Magnum shocks you buy.
All across this land, Americans are celebrating our greatest lady's 100th birthday. By an act of Congress, America commemorates this event by minting United States Liberty coins. These valuable keepsakes will be a lasting way for you to treasure liberty. United States Liberty coins, singly or in sets, at banks, savings and loans, and Kmart stores. Now you can keep liberty in mint condition forever.
This week, baseball superstar Keith Hernandez here on Good Morning America.
Don't do it.
A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Hardy.
Goodbye, old paint.
Uh-oh, better get Mako.
Mako, state-of-the-art auto painting and body repair. High-tech, low prices keep Mako on top.
If you're saying uh-oh, better get Mako.
I'm no fool. I love Ponderosa's Sundae Bar. Vanilla, chocolate, swirl. Mommy and Daddy love the Ponderosa Sundae Bar, too. Fabulous. I could eat them all. I can, too, because Ponderosa lets you have all the sundaes you can eat for 59 cents. There's no stopping those 10 toppings. Like I said, we're no fools.
Now only $3.79 for a complete charbroiled ribeye steak dinner.
Join George Richards tonight on Channel 27 News.
Now we've had 3 matches, gone through the semifinal. Rather close match. Peter Hakim got off the hook to win his second match of the afternoon. This one over Ron Palombi. With 8 strikes, Palumbi 7, 232 to 223. Wide World follows us here on ABC, and of course tomorrow Major League Baseball returns to ABC Sports. New York Mets, Philadelphia Phillies, or you perhaps will see Toronto Blue Jays and Kansas City. And Nelson, what a performance today since we're on Long Island by a native Long Islander who pitches for the Royals. Dennis Leonard, who hadn't pitched since May of 1983, undergoing 4 leg operations, pitched a 3-hitter as Kansas City beat Toronto today, 1-0. That's a performance. His first start since '83. Nice going.
Well, it's hard to say yet, but Kansas City, undoubtedly the world champion with Saber Hagen, and then Leonard coming back like this, Chris, is definitely the team to beat in the American League. The Mets, the National, but they still got to get by the Cardinals, and Storm DeVincent and Peter Hakim, one of these players is going to get a trip to the Firestone Tournament of Champions after this game. Neither player has ever been in the winner's circle. Peter, the local favorite, knows the championship pair, averaged 249.5 so far. Let's see if he looks back as he has a chance to win the title and starts becoming protective.
Forest Hills, New York against Tamarack, Florida. He was happy with that because of the hit leaving the 2-4-7.
Game number 1 for Peter Hakim, 8 strikes in a row. Game number 2 for Peter Hakim, 5 strikes in a row. The championship game, a little different. Starts with a bit tentative, leaves the 2, 4, and 7 pin standing. A tough spare. Semi-fingertip grip.
We've had a year of first-time winners. Here you have a 29-year-old and a 30-year-old looking for their first titles. For Hakim, that you just saw perform, it was his first career championship round, and this is only the 3rd for Storm. A control of speed. Beautiful, beautiful stroke.
That
touch.
Big body, that good touch, Chris, as you said, good speed control. An excellent clutch player for strikes, has had trouble when he needs spares to win. As you see his profile, he shovels that ball off that wrist, throws the biggest hook of all the players in the championship round today. And if he can keep it in the pocket, look out.
And the tournament leader, Storm DeVincent of Tamarack, Florida, leaves the 10-pin on the left lane.
Storm's ball rolled out. You see all that hook, and then all of a sudden it quit as it entered the 1-3 pockets. The ball must keep driving, keep spinning at that point. Storm is going to have some trouble carrying the 10-pin if that continues to happen. He has to either spin it more or throw it harder.
First game for this man, Storm DeVincent, but it's the 3rd. 2 victories now for the Long Island Championship.
It's just down the road, Forest Hills, Chris, right by the Belmont racetrack, which is one of the events we like to see.
And the first Saturday in May starts ABC's coverage of thoroughbred racing with the Kentucky Derby, followed by the Preakness. And we're glad to say that the 3rd jewel has been added. That's right, the Triple Crown, live and in color on ABC this year. All right, and that's live and in color. And the 3rd one being the Belmont Stakes, of course.
The 4-7 for Hakim to trail by 2 pins. Chris, would you agree that he's gotten a bit tentative here as he sees the championship in front of him?
I really think he has now. Big as strong as he is, I doubt if he's tiring, but I don't know. You can walk about. Next Saturday, the Greater Hartford Open, Windsor Locks, Connecticut. We'll be there.
See if he picks up the speed.
His father, Mac, appreciates that. That's his mother alongside. Now, Storm DeVincent. whose only representative here today is his wife, Lou Ann. Gliding, rolling so gently into that 1-3 pocket, and there is Lou Ann.
Lou Ann, who flew in from Florida today, a beautiful girl, obviously, and such a, you ought to see the personality, just kind of a wry smile on her face. I think she's more nervous than Storm. And the key shot for Storm is going to be, can he hit the left-hand lane? It hooks quite a bit more. He has to send the ball wide, keep it from rolling out. He could take a 12-pin lead with a strike here in the 4th.
Does just that. Luann's husband, Storm. The championship match will continue here at the Garden City Bowl, live and in color on ABC. But first, we're pausing for this message.
Ben loved to party. So, we never miss a Mardi Gras, right, King?
Right, Kong.
Great music, great fun, and great folks.
Hey, they appreciate the taste of a great beer, too. Because in New Orleans, they drink more Miller Lite than all the other light beers put together.
It's the most popular light beer in the whole country.
Okay, Ben, it's time to party. On with your head.
All across America, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Ollie, if you don't hurry, I'll miss my plane.
Well, I'm doing the best I can in this terrible rain.
Would a new set of Vanco wiper blades help?
Certainly. Put them on.
Change to Anco, the best-selling brand of wiper blades and refills.
There, now I can see an airplane. Airplane!
Don't worry, Ollie. It wasn't mine. That's mine.
Anco, the best blades you can buy. Test proven.
The action continues on the Professional Bowlers Tour. They'll be on the mark at the $125,000 Greater Hartford Open next Saturday on ABC Sports.
Next Saturday from Windsor Locks, Connecticut. Today, here in Garden City, Long Island, New York. From Forest Hills, New York. His third game, Peter Hakim. Trailing by 12, has a strike up. He can cut it to 2. Right lane.
Peter Hakim, for the first time today, has been off in his game. He was high in the first frame, leaving the 2, 4, and 7 pins. High in the second, the 4, 7. A good, solid strike in the third. And then once again throws the ball a little too hard this time and leaves the 3, 5 spare. Has to guard against chopping the 3 off the 5. And remember, last week, left-hander Rod Pasteur, this was his downfall, missing this combination.
Other local favorites in this tournament, Don Gianello was 32nd, Mark Roth 49th. This man looking for his first title finished 3rd and now has a chance to be number 1. But Storm DeVincent, the tournament leader, is his opponent. DeVincent, when he shoots next, will have a double working. Spare up 5th frame for Hakim. Ellen.
Well, you pick a lane that fits your style, and Storm DeVincent likes the right-hand lane. He likes the lane slick and yet be able to play the big hook. He's been perfect on this lane in the 1st and 3rd frames. He can take a 22-pin lead with a strike here in the 5th.
Tough break for Storm, leaving the 10.
Once again, Storm gets that what we call the rollout shot. Watch this ball. It looks like it's going to break, and then all of a sudden it straightens out. You see it kind of deflect as it enters the 1-3 pocket, all that hook, and yet still doesn't drive over into the 8-pin area. That's a result of not having enough speed or spin on the ball.
Lots of speed to come with a 10-pin, DeVincent. There are many incentives to win, and Storm told me one of his big ones was he'd like to get known so he could get a pro shop operation somewhere.
Well, he's down in that Florida area where Palmer Falgren, a good friend of mine, had such a successful pro shop. Tamarack area. We had a tournament in the Tamarack area. Don Carter Lanes years back. We're now down in the Kendall area. Now here's Storm DeVincent. 6 frame, leads by 11.
Contrast in styles, and we've had that from game 1 right through to the championship game you're watching now.
Storm DeVincent plays inside, lets it go outside, then drives back, rips the 5 over into the 4-7 area, and continues to keep the pressure on Peter Hakim. This is the shot that Hakim can make a match out of it. With a strike up, a strike here in the 6th, he would only trail by 1 pin.
Well, the 3-5-6 for the left-hander.
3-5-6. He had the 3-5 on this same lane in the 4th frame. He converted it by getting the ball right there to the left of the 3-pin and driving through the 5. Once again, we go back to last week's match. Rod Pasteur, if he had converted this particular spare in the 3rd frame, could have gone on to win the title. Let's see what Hakim does with it here in the 6th.
Pressure mounting now on these 2 non-winners. The one that does will go to the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Walter Ray Williams, whom we heard from earlier, is the leading money winner with 2 victories this year, over $86,000. Tom Kreitz, Steve Cook, David Ozio, and Mark Roth.
Mark Baker, who has been on a little trouble lately, Skidmore, Randy Peterson, Brian Voss, and a former winner here, Don Janello. Round out the top 10. 7th frame, Peter Hakim trails by 11, spare up.
All but the 10.
You can see Peter picking up his speed. The first match, he was nice and firm, but not throwing the ball down there, letting it roll. Now he's trying to force the ball, make it hook towards the pocket, make it turn over, and is not getting the good string of strikes that he had in his first 2 matches. He's been perfect on his spares today, though.
Storm DeVincent and Peter Hakim are in this championship match. More of it following this.
The Professional Bowlers Tour. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil in easy-to-pour and resealable plastic bottles. By Peerless Faucet, installs in no time, lasts a long time. And by Tenneco, building on quality.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Still beautiful, Dad.
Took your brother through college, take you wherever you want to go.
On Quaker State.
Right. Smooth oil flow is what you want, protects the engine. See, Quaker State starts with Pennsylvania-grade crude, delivers stable viscosity.
You get great protection with the Big Q.
Hey, how come you know so much?
From listening to you.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
We're not a company.
But no company has more pride in what they do.
Or more pride in how well they do it.
We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future.
One that goes far beyond the ordinary.
One that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Air Force.
The Marines.
The Army.
The Navy.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
I thought all dander shampoos were the same, but you can really feel the difference. On this side, there's a tingling sensation with Denorex shampoo and conditioner. Here, with regular Head and Shoulders, nothing. The tingle tells me Denorex is doing more.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denorex adds an extra anti-itch medicine and conditioner, too.
My hair looks great, feels terrific. Goodbye, Head and Shoulders. Hello, Denorex.
Denorex, dandruff shampoo that conditions, too.
We have an all-even match as you look at Peter Hakim. While we're away, as we're running behind our allotted time schedule, an open frame in the 7th for DeVincent, a spare in the 8th, covering an 8-pin. Spare up, and Peter Hakim, who's won 2 matches for his hometown fans. And there they shout, trying to fire him up. He's had 2 big games and struggling here a little bit, Nelson.
Chris, what fired him up was the open that Storm DeVincent handed to him in the 7th frame. Storm left the 2, 4, 5, and 8, failed to convert the 4-pin, then spared here in the 8th frame, and he slid right by. Now watch what happens. This is Storm's spare in the 7th frame to stay in the lead. He slides by, leaving the 4-pin. That makes the match all even, and it was a shot of adrenaline for Peter Hakim, who can take the lead for the first time in the match. 9th frame.
Twisting the screw, and the dad is right behind him. You know, you have to have lived in New York all the years I did and have to appreciate New York sports fans. They get with it.
Storm DeVincent. Can he retaliate?
Oh, the 10.
Storm DeVincent's ball, and I'll say it again, is rolling out. Normally his ball continues to spin and drive through the pins. He left the 10-pin in the 2nd frame on that shot, the 10-pin in the 5th frame on that shot, and here in the 9th frame he left the 10-pin again.
Let's have a little tip on how we correct that.
A little more speed, Chris, and or a little more spin to keep the ball driving at the back end.
Okay. Storm DeVincent battling for that elusive first victory, as is Hakim. And as the tournament leader, leading in the 5th and 6th rounds, this 30-year-old from Tamarack, Florida, who he grew up in Massachusetts. And Storm is his legal first name, born during a hurricane.
Well, he needs a hurricane of strikes right here. For the first time, he is behind in the match and must perform under the pressure. 10th frame, trails by 11. Chris, I've watched Storm DeVincent bowl for 3 or 4 years, and he's a gentleman and a great athlete. He had 2 championships in his pocket. He had one in Columbus and one in Florida, where he needed just a spare to win the match. But he couldn't get the spare. But for when he needs a strike, he says, I feel more confident. Right now, he needs this strike to give himself a good chance to win the tournament.
And his wife, Luann. Pressure.
Storm DeVincent at his best. Sends it wide when he needs it. Just saws that 5-pin into the 4-7 zone. With one more strike, he would finish with 206 and force Hakim the strike to win. Look at those eyes. He wanted it and he got it.
What a performance by Storm DeVincent, shooting a 206, 3 in a row at the very end. And now, well, it was worth that.
The pressure, Storm DeVincent, he performed under. Right now, this is the best chance we've ever had for a tie in my 12 years sitting in this seat in a championship game. If Peter Hakim gets 9 spare strike, we have a tie at 206, and we would have a 2-frame roll-off for the title.
You know, there is a bowler that accepted the challenge 3 times. First against the bowler of the year, Albie, 267, 246. And then against Palumbi, 232 to 223. He just bows his back, and from the left side, a tough loss for Storm DeVincent. Hakim from Forest Hills. And a spot where he's bowled for a long time will be in the 210s, whereas DeVincent has shot a 206. And Buddy Russell, the proprietor here, John Caprice, president of the Nassau County Proprietors, with the trophy, $18,000 check, but for Haken, more important, a trip to Firestone as he finishes the game. He will have shot a 216 to DeVincent's 206. Quickly now to Nelson
Tremendous
Burton.
victory. Unbelievable.
This is the greatest day of my life. I'd just like to thank everybody here at Garden City Bowl, Mr. Russell, and all the bowling proprietors in Nassau County, all the girls in the office, and you guys were the best. Beat me through this whole tournament.
Peter, a dream come true. Buddy Russell, you have a check.
It's made, but it's $18,000. We congratulate you and thank you for a great week that you made for us.
Thank you very much.
And John Caprice, the trophy.
Peter, on behalf of the Nassau County Bowling Proprietors, I'm indeed pleased to present this championship trophy. Thanks for a great week.